Hello and welcome to the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Nisha Charles. Coming up, Tourism Minister announces the cancellation of this year's World Creole Music Festival, the Douglas Charles Airport reopens for commercial activity, and Dominica stands ready for the tourism season. Details of our headline stories and more after this. Thanks for staying with us. It's official, the 19th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival will not be hosted this year. The Honorable Minister for Tourism, Senator Robert Tung, made the announcement at a press conference on Friday. The minister explained that the decision was prompted by the losses suffered by nationals during the passage of Tropical Storm Erica.
The country of Dominica remains in a state of shock and mourning following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, which has caused significant loss of life, loss of personal property, and significant damage to the country's infrastructure, roads, bridges, river defenses, and walls, in excess of $600 million. To date, the WCMF, the World Creole Music Festival organizers, have invested financially for the planning and staging of the event. Significant additional resources are required to bring the event to fruition. As such, the organizers of the WCMF feel it prudent, out of respect of the loss of life, to cancel the event as we know it, where there has been much heavy emphasis on reveille. Most artists scheduled to perform this year have declared their willingness to postpone their performance to next year. We thank the numerous patrons for the support over the previous years and the message of solidarity during these trying times. We look forward to your support in 2016. In these messages of solidarity, patrons have expressed their willingness to support a relief concert in the aid of Dominica's recovery. The private sector has also indicated their interest in hosting and moving forward with such an event. We met with many persons of the private sector this morning in this room. Basically, we sat down and saw how we could be put together, how they could put together an event that would still bring people together, bring persons from other islands to come and visit Dominica, and even to maybe take part in certain rebuilding efforts during the day, whilst at the night they relax listening to music. So those persons on board are very encouraged and look forward to put together such an event, which will happen around the same time as Creole Festival. Hopefully the exact same days, the Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday. They will be meeting next week, and by next week, Wednesday, they will be formally making a statement which will give persons a better idea as to exactly what is going to happen. But basically, it will be called somewhere along the lines of Dominica Relief Concert, taking over the 3 days, and the Friday night, more than likely, will be the NCCU changing their event to that day, so there's a major event happening on that day, and any profits derived from that show will go towards the rebuilding of Dominica. The Saturday night will be a pure benefit concert whereby all persons locally and foreign and all the providers of the services will be coming together to have not a free concert, but they will provide all their services free of charge, and all the proceeds from that event will go towards rebuilding Dominica. And we're also looking forward to Carib also changing their event to the Sunday, so that there's still 3 nights of events, but all geared towards providing relief to the country. At the same time, for a short period of time, maybe taking person's mind off the tragedy, but thereafter we still have to continue working to rebuild our country.
Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit believes that the hosting of such an event would send a wrong message to countries willing to contribute towards Dominica's recovery efforts.
Our people have to be practical. We have to be real, and we preempted in my budget address, keeping it real. We have to be real. The country is going to need to raise a lot of money, and this is not about. We have to look at the situation as a whole. I cannot go and start apportioning things. We have to put everything on the table, consider all of the issues, all of the ramifications, because if we go ahead, for example, and host this Creole Festival, and people who have taken the money that they don't have to help you in this very difficult time, what are they going to say? That you're fetting in Dominica while our people catching hell and we have to build homes for you?
Merely 2 weeks after Tropical Storm Erica ravaged Dominica, The island's main airport, the Douglas Charles Airport, is now operational. The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit was on Thursday pleased to make the announcement as he again updated the nation of the island's progress following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica on August 27th. Douglas Charles suffered colossal damage during the passage of the storm, which dumped over 10 inches of rain in just a few hours. The Melvin Hall River flooded its banks and caused severe damage to the terminal buildings, equipment, furniture and fixtures. Prime Minister Skerrit says government's main objective was to get the airport operational in quick time. He paid a visit to the airport on Thursday.
So the first phase really was to clean up the runway, clean up the terminal building, and in an effort to get the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority approval for aircraft landing. So far we have gotten clearance for seaborne, for the Wing Air flights, and we also gotten approval for the ATR 42 Liat aircraft. In speaking to ECA today and in looking at their inspection today, based on the conditions they set on us for approval for the ATR 72, they are indicating that they are satisfied that we have addressed those concerns, and they believe that they're in a position now to allow for the ATR 72 to land commercially, but that's to say with passengers.
Liat's flights are expected to be back on schedule as of Monday, September 21st.
I think it's been an absolutely unbelievable transformation, and all credit must go to, first of all, the Prime Minister for rallying the people of Dominica in their hour of need, and particularly here at the airport, Mr. Badwil, and all his team, I think, have done an absolutely remarkable job of getting the airport into a state where we at Liat can start to operate flights again, and we're hoping to do that as early as next week.
The Prime Minister recognized the efforts of Liat and the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority in their extraordinary effort to support Dominica. Honorable Skerrit also lauded the work of the French, who sent a large contingent of volunteers to Dominica to assist with the cleanup of the airport.
I could say boldly, had it not been for the assistance of the French, the Regional Council of Guadeloupe, we would not have been able to get clearance from ECA to have the ATR 42 or the ATR 72 to land. They've been very exceptional because, as you know, we were constrained by the fact that we have limited heavy equipment in the country, because every piece of heavy equipment has been deployed to one village or one community or one site or the other. And the type of equipment you needed at the Douglas Charles Airport, we had limited capacity in this. And even those that would be available, they were cut off from the rest of the country, couldn't get to Douglas Charles.
Dominica also received assistance from Cuba and Grenada in that regard. The nation's leader says although the airport is now operational, there still remains a lot more to be done.
The next step is for the actual reinstatement of the damaged infrastructure. A number of the taxiways and of course the drainage system, the tarmac, all of these things have to be reinstated. The parking, the furniture in the entire terminal building, and also the navigational equipment, communication equipment have been destroyed and damaged beyond repair. So we're hoping that by next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I as Minister of Finance will be in a position to sign a contract for the effecting of those for the restoration of the infrastructure. So once the Ministry of Works can finalize the estimates for these works, I'm on standby to sign this contract, so we can start the reinstatement of those facilities.
The Honorable Prime Minister says the extraordinary efforts of the people of Dominica and all those who assisted made restoration of services at the airport possible. Works on full restoration is expected to commence soon. Benoit Badwil is General Manager of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority.
We are trying to see as well, with the help of the Cubans, how we can restore electrical power to the building, and that is in progress as we speak. The Venezuelans have given us tremendous assistance in terms of the river diversion, and they're working along with the French with Vatican to see how we can ensure that the river is turned back to its course. So we are in fact doing quite a bit, and I must say that based on the feedback that I'm getting, both from the layouts, pilots, from the various personnel who have visited here, as you can see, we have a jet which came in here, and that signals further the kind of improvements we've made here. So we've had also before that a Learjet come in, and so the preparation mode for the runway, the terminal, is in fact in high gear.
Director General of the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, Donald McPherson, is impressed with the progress made at the Douglas Charles Airport.
We came in here for the first time on the Friday after the storm, and based on what we saw then, we didn't think that we would have been able to achieve this much in terms of reparation and restoration. So I have to congratulate the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica for this. We were here last Saturday for the second time, and we were confident even before we came that the ATR 42, which is on the ground now, could have operated into here on Saturday. But in spite of this requirements, I demanded that we came down on a smaller airplane so that we can observe the landing from on the ground. We are here for a second time, and we are going to do another further inspection. But if you compare what we saw Saturday to now, it's a great improvement. And we are confident that based on what we see today, we'll be able to upgrade the approval from the ATR 42 to something bigger. By the end of the day, we will make a determination on what the larger type of aircraft would be.
Chief Executive Officer of LIAT, David Evans, applauded the Dominica leader and all those responsible for restoring the airport. Minister for Tourism, Senator the Honorable Robert Tung, says Dominica is ready to accept visitors for the upcoming tourist season. On Thursday, officials from the Ministry of Tourism updated the nation on access to visitor sites and access to the island via its ports of entry. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, Gerald Jajak, gave a report on road access. He reported that all roads across the island are largely passable, except for 5 areas where challenges still remain.
These 5 areas are Bagatelle to Petit Savan to Delices, Boutica to Delices, a wet area village, that's towards the interior, Warner to Layu via Sultan Road.
The Permanent Secretary says all sites located along these routes have also been assessed, and the Ministry of Tourism has determined that they are tourist ready. He says of the 45 sites documented by the Ministry of Tourism, 7 are rated Dominica's top sites. 4 of these sites are fully accessible.
These sites are Trafalgar Falls, Emerald Pool, the Champagne Reef, Tito Gorge, Indian River, an adventure park down in Layu, and Bois Cotlet up in the Soufrière area. Out of these, we have complete access to 4 of them. What does that mean? That means with your vehicle, you could drive up to Trafalgar Falls, you could drive to Emerald Pool, normally you would access Champagne Reef via boat. You could still do that and enjoy the reef. Tito Gorge, you can drive to Tito Gorge. Indian River, we have been informed, and we have observed that you could still take a boat and go to the Indian River and enjoy the Indian River. As a matter of fact, the falls, and Emerald Pool, and Tito Gorge have been enhanced. They are much more beautiful right now. There are, I should say, admit, 1 or 2 limitations, notably in one little portion of the road to Trafalgar Falls. But that doesn't hinder traffic.
The other 3 will be ready before the tourist season opens in October. Reports also indicate that the Borden Lake is still accessible, but slides along the route present a greater challenge, and the Waitukubuli National Trail also remains to be assessed. With regards to hotel occupancy, the Ministry of Tourism reports that more than 70% are ready to accommodate visitors.
Pre-Erica, there were 94 properties, which equates to 1,022 rooms.
Post Erica, there are 72 fully operational properties, which means that over 76% of our properties are ready and willing to accept persons, and 10 are non-operational, but of which 9 of these are expected to be fully operational before the peak season, and the peak season is really between the months of October and to November moving forward. By the peak season, we'll have 81 properties that will be fully operational, and we've been working very closely with the DHT to ensure that we receive information on a regular basis to see what are the issues of the hotels and how we move forward in the best interests of the country.
The Director of Tourism, Colin Piper, also reported that all ports of entry are open and operational. For more information on flights and ferry services, persons are asked to visit the Discover Dominica website for daily updates. As Dominica continues to recover from the ravages of Tropical Storm Erica, the country's leader says there is no time for politicking. The Honorable Prime Minister says his focus is solely on rebuilding the country.
Politicking has its place, and when you see the extent of the destruction, you have to engage everybody. And my thinking was that people elected 21 people to represent their interests, and that they all must be engaged in the efforts to respond to the effects and the impact of Tropical Storm Erica. So it's not politicking for me. I mean, my task is too huge for me to spend time engaging in partisan politics.
The Honorable Prime Minister has engaged the opposition in the overall plans to rebuild the country after the August 27 storm, which resulted in loss of life and extensive damage to the island's infrastructure.
My hope is that it will last forever. That's my hope, that the unity will last forever. I have been very sincere with my engagement of the opposition. I have supported them in every single request that they have made of me as the Prime Minister in the execution of their duties. We have been transparent to them. They have been, the public officers who are responsible for various aspects of the operations have been subjected to the quizzing and the questioning. So there is not much information which I have, which any one of them do not have, in terms of the operations of the response of the state. So it has been sincere. So my hope and prayer is that we can remain that way to the benefit of our country.
The Dominica leader was, however, surprised by the utterances of the opposition leader at a press conference on Friday.
News of the focus and content of Mr. Linton's press conference came to me as a major surprise, as I was at the time in the process of drafting a response to a letter received from Mr. Linton just a few moments prior, that is at 12:20 p.m. today, in which he made the identical points. I would have thought that since Mr. Linton, in his official capacity as leader of the opposition, wrote to me in my official capacity as Prime Minister, that he would have given me the opportunity to first receive and respond to his correspondence. Had Mr. Linton ascribed to me that basic courtesy, he would have discovered that I am in very much agreement with the spirit of much of what he suggested, and would like for us to meet at the earliest opportunity so he can elaborate thereon with a view to agreeing on a formula for implementation. I have made it clear that the crisis confronting Dominica at this time demands a cessation of the culture of adversarial politics and the adoption of a more conciliatory and collaborative approach. In this regard, I will request an audience with Mr. Linton early next week to discuss an itemized list of his concerns. Now is not the time, and this is certainly not the environment in which the leadership of the country should be seen to be shouting across the airwaves at each other. I am open to discussion, and I propose to sit with the leader of the opposition no later than Wednesday of next week to discuss issues of concern to him pertaining to access to the media, disaster relief management, parliamentary sanction of a new disaster management construct, and resettlement of residents, among other issues. These are not issues that warrant a public shouting match. Indeed, they are not issues on which there is any great political divide. Therefore, I am confident that as leaders, with the best interests of Dominica at heart, we can sit across the table and arrive at an acceptable formula going forward.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. They Often Cry Outreach, or the TOCO Foundation, is lending their support to the Dominica relief effort. This time it's the shipment of footwear being sent to Dominica by the foundation. The US-based foundation seeks to improve the lives of underprivileged, at-risk and orphaned Caribbean youth through sports, health and enrichment programs. On Wednesday, September 9th, a shipment of 1,500 pairs of shoes was dispatched to Dominica from New York City, with the promise of more to come later this month. On hand to receive the footwear were the ambassador and permanent representative of the Commonwealth of Dominica to the United Nations, His Excellency Dr. Vince Henderson, the Dominica Consul General in New York, Barbara Daly, and St. Lucia's Consul General, the Honorable Julian Dubois. The foundation is founded by St. Lucian-born UNICEF Youth Ambassador Taj Weeks. While several organizations are focusing on bringing financial and other forms of physical relief to Dominica post-Tropical Storm Erica, the Dominica Spa Health and Wellness Association, DSHWA, is concerned about bringing emotional wellness.
We at DSHWA, we recognize that persons have not only lost their property and their homes and their jobs probably, but there's been loss of life, and persons have also lost their sense of security. Persons have lost the stability that was there the day before the catastrophe struck. And those who have lost their loved ones, it was such a sudden separation and so totally unexpected, and the horrific, the gruesomeness of the experience. We recognize that that has had an impact not only on the communities that have been affected, but I think the island as a whole is in a state of trauma.
The association has solicited the assistance of Trinidad-based Center for Human Development Limited to provide direct intervention and to also train individuals to offer counseling to those who need it.
We'll be covering things like pre-assessment before you enter a crisis situation, ways in which you can handle the crisis, and also we'll be doing some psychoeducation on the psychological effects of trauma.
The institution is here with 4 clinical psychologists, including President and Chief Executive Officer Hanif Benjamin.
My team is split up into 2 right now, where 2 of us will be conducting training, but I also have 2 team members on the field right now visiting different areas of Dominica who was hard hit, and we're going to be providing direct trauma intervention. And then in the evenings, from now until next Tuesday, we're going to be going to the shelters as well and provide direct intervention to children and families. So while we are working directly to train people, we're also providing direct intervention so that the people out in the field can actually get direct help. And that is what is needed at this time. At this point, there is no cost attached. We are here. The good people of DSHWA, they were able to raise the money I know they have been doing a lot of work in the last week or so to get us here, and they have done so. I know they're still trying to raise money to keep us here, but in terms of the Center for Human Development, we are here to give our skills and expertise to our fellow Caribbean countrymen and women, because in times of crisis, that is what we do.
While the training is broad, persons with direct intervention skills, including teachers, pastors, and other community leaders, are particularly targeted. Crises like what has occurred in Dominica needs intervention. And finally, this news time. Over the past 2 weeks following the destruction of Tropical Storm Erica, efforts are being made to bring Dominica back to a state of normalcy. For some, that normalcy won't come anytime soon, as they were hit by loss of property, devastation of villages, and the most telling of all, loss of life. For some communities, the devastation is more than others. The community of Petite-Savanne has seen the most damage, with 6 bodies having been recovered and several still missing. It's heartbreaking when you see the damage caused by the passage of a storm, but even worse when you hear the stories of people who lost their lives. From the community of Lahu, Petite-Savanne, is D'Angelo Danny Antoine, who lost many he knew that dreaded Thursday. Among them were both his parents.
It was, it's really rainy, and actually, on that morning, I was on the road with my friend, just checking around and having some fun. And nobody ever expected it to end up that way. We never experienced that. We never had that before, and none of us ever thought it would end up that way. And it was between the times of 7 o'clock and between 7 o'clock and maybe 11 o'clock. About that time, I was away from my phone, so in times I didn't have time to check out time and what was going on. I was on the road. I get back home, and that's when it started happening. That's when it started happening. I live in an upstairs and downstairs house, and it was like the downstairs there's a smaller yard, and the upstairs there's another yard to it. And so it's like I was up there, and my daddy was like the upper part, and my mother was down the lower part. And before you know it, nobody expected that to happen. We had tons of rain, more like a week of rain, and none of that. So so we thought everything would be okay and it would be all good, but we never expected that to happen to that extent. And the only thing I told them is just, okay, we have to leave, we have to escape. And I told everybody just to escape, and before I could start moving, it's more slides keep coming down, and I had to jump like a 3 to 4 meter tall structure, and I probably hurt my leg at that point, and I had to escape. I tried to pull my mother hand to come with me, just to grab her and to pull, because I'm a bit faster, I'm way faster, and it didn't happen. I slipped, I missed her, and what happened, I tried to escape the path of the landslide. It was coming straight down, so I tried to go a little to the right of it, so that I would be out of its path. But that was just, it was just like, it was just out of my idea. Didn't work out. I got stuck in a hole. Before you know, I tried to pull off myself. That wasn't working out too good, and I was stuck like for 10 or about anything but like 5-7 minutes stuck here, and I was trying to come up, but I saw my mother and father die before my eyes, just at the back of me, and I was trying to see if I could just get my foot out, and if I could run back to pull her, but no, before I get myself out, my leg was like, I thought it was broken, but it wasn't, and I just witnessed my mother and father die before my eyes. And in addition to my mother and father loss, I lost 8 cousins, 2 aunties and their husband, an uncle, and 3 friends, and oh yeah, I just lost my village, entire village. There's no going back there. Yeah, and that's what I can remember.
Although he welcomed the thought of relocating, Antoine will miss his beloved community of Petite-Savanne.
I miss chilling on my front porch and staying at Martinique at night. That's what I'll miss for sure. And I'll miss that's one of the things I'll miss for sure, absolutely no line about that. I mean, you know, you've been in a village and you've seen, you know, like everything, your essence, everything is just there. I mean, everything is just there. No, it's not going to see that for another, like, whole lifetime is no longer seeing this anymore. But, so, I mean, I just miss my community real bad, real bad.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a fait parole qui avion commercial que vous commencez à poser en aéroport Douglas Charles la semaine prochaine. Parole ça là sorti du Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt. Facilité ça là bien dommagé sinon courte Erika. Honorable Skerritt fait parole qui est qu'à bas pouvoir pour opération continue. Et des objectifs là, c'était pour faire toute bagaille pour vivre mettre l'aéroport là, vivre opération. Premier ministre a dit avion Liat et puis 72 qui posé, Win Air et puis Sibon aussi. Chef officier ECA ensemble et puis officier ailleurs, chef pilot Liat en permis d'autres visiter base avion A pour conduire assessment où là il d'accord que avion ça posé. Premier ministre Skerritt aussi fait parole qu'ils a fait où l'aéroport là était bien affecté. Business well qui conduit titak derrière, ça c'est manuel avant you installer bon équipement. La nouvelle organisation USAID par Embassy AIO qui vient devant assister Dominique après Erika. Embassy là qui a fait provision de $100,000 US pour assister Dominique viré du bout. L'argent ça là qui a augmenté $50,000 US qui était déjà allé pour Red Cross. USAID offre qui a coordonné support pour faire assurer que l'assistance vive l'occasion où la monde bien mérité. $50,000 US salaire qui Red Cross tapé, positionné yo pour tirer bagaille pour plusieurs communautés en parmi Pichelin, Guambé, Bagatelle, Font-Saint-Jean et puis Pointe-Caraïbe. OFDA qui a aussi supporté restauration basse avion Douglas Charles. La nouvelle organisation USAID OFDA qui a conduit assessment dommage Erika l'a cautionné. Sinon, officier OFDA Dominique Cecil Shillingford, assessment qui a conduit tout Dominique.
Oui, mon café, c'est un travail avec USAID OFDA, Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance. Avec ça, nous ici, nous sommes chef région A ici, avec un collègue de Jamaïque. Ici, avec ça, nous avons fait, c'est nous aller tout le monde avait fait assessment, regarder commune, avec où ça a fait, nous voulons savoir combien de monde qui style à dans shelter, nous voulons savoir combien de monde qui panique, avec bagaille comme ça. Avec nous avons fait un meeting, nous avons joint avec collègues, hod Pahou, avec hod Red Cross, avec l'autre organisation régionale et internationale. Nous avons fait une recommandation pour ça, gouvernement et États-Unis, ça fait par Dominique.
Et puis finalement, chef Discover Dominic Authority Colin Piper, qui a fait parole qui voit pour Dominique qui a marché après Erika. Selon M. Piper, tout port l'armée Dominique a fonctionné, ça c'est Woodbridge Bay en Wozo, cruise ship Wozo et puis des ports en Guantans. Et des bases avions Kenfield ouverts et puis il a accommodé service petit avion et puis hélicoptère. Service l'armée à bord l'express des îles, Guadeloupe, Martinique et puis Saint-Lucie aussi qui a fonctionné. Il était aussi des services en ferry, Rod Montserrat, qui ont un service aller-retour Antigua, Wind Air, hélicoptère, Hummingbird Air, qui a allé via Virgin Islands et puis Tortola, qui a aussi fonctionné. Messieurs et mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Donc moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Et un bon week-end. Au revoir.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Nisha Charles. Thanks for watching and do have a good weekend.